What's going on, everybody? We're going to do another ultralight fishing session here. I just have the GoPro tonight, so I won't have that second camera. But I'm going to see if we can't catch some more fish here on the old ultralights. I'll see you guys down at the creek. Now, what we'll do here is kind of a repeat of what I did in my last video. Only I'm not going to do a stinger on this one. I'm just going to do little chunks of worm. And on the other one, if I have time, I'll throw some artificials too. But let's see how the fish are feeling today, if they're feeling pretty sporty or not. Just throw a big old hunk of worm there on this one. All right. Water is substantially clearer than it was the other day. So hopefully the fish will be a little more active. But we shall see. Alright, first cast of the day. Oh, I just missed one. First cast and get a bite. I will take it. I don't know if you guys could hear it or not, but there's a great horned owl calling in the background over here. It's pretty awesome. Alright, so I am re-rigged, and while I was in the process of tying on a new worm, I actually had a fish jump on the other side over there. So let's see if we can get him on the line. All sorts of rocks down there. All right. Need to invest in a bell or something like that, because as you saw in my last video, I missed all sorts of fish. As soon as I look away, the rod would go off and get a snag. So let's see what happens here. Alright, so I got my worm rod out in the water right now, and I'm going to try casting this for a little bit to see if I can't get a bite on that little action fishing here without missing a bite on that. I'll have to check that here in a second. Looking way too tight. Probably have a snag on that. There has to be a tree limb there or something like that. I've caught in this thing so many times. Or a rock or something. Oh. Oh, there's a fish. Thought I had a snag there for a second. Let me adjust my drag. I'm not using my medium weight anymore. This could be a nice chub. Hasn't come to the surface yet, so who knows what it is. Oh, that's a nice fish. Oh, that's a nicer fish. Let's see if we can get him in without losing him. That's without a doubt my personal best creek chub. Things I never thought I'd say in my life. Tell you what. Come on. Come on, get in. Get in. Yes. Yes. Look at that. That is a big fish. Well, a big chub, I should say. I'm 100%. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's do a catch and cook on this guy. Trash fish catch and cook. Absolutely. That guy, because we're going to do a catch and cook on him. That's 100% my personal best creek chub. That's probably one of the bigger ones we pulled out of here. But it is getting dark. So let's see if we can catch another one before we run out of camera light here. It's on the old tried and true Nightcrawler and split shot rig. Tell you what, do one more new piece of worm on here. It's definitely for the better to get those fish out of here though, because you have big chubs like that, they're gonna outcompete all the other game fish. Oh, I think I just missed another one. That was another nice fish. Do I still have a worm? Yes, I do. All right, take two. Hopefully it's not too dark on the camera for everybody. I'll tell you what, you could buy all the fancy lures you want, but nothing beats a thing of worms, a split shot. You catch anything and everything on a worm, including rocks. Caught my fair share of those so far, but that's half the fun of fishing on a river. Let's see if we can't get that guy to bite one more time. Ah, that was another one. Might have to call it a night here soon. It's getting pretty dark. Ooh, that's a nice one. That's got some shoulders to it. This might be another big chub. I don't want to horse him too much. An ultralight with 6-pound test. Oh, here he is. What is it? Oh, it's another nice one. Come on, come on, come on, come on. This one looks a little smaller than the other one. Not by much, though. Get on up here. And throw this one back. Yeah, it's a little smaller than the last one. But still not a bad fish. I'll get him released here and then... So check this out. I left this guy down here bleeding out while I was taking everything up to the house. I already have crayfish on him. Trying to pick away at him. I see some guy down there. Trying to hide underneath him. Eating at his tail down there. Pretty crazy. Been here for all of 5 minutes. I'm about to get a crayfish trap out here for these guys. Well, I'm quickly realizing that my biggest cutting board is not big enough for this fish. So, gonna have to make do. It's gonna be a little bit of a slop, but I don't have to clean the table afterwards. But let me get you guys set up here, dispatch the fish, and we'll go ahead and clean it. Now, I did bleed it. I mean, probably what you're seeing here is just the nervous twitch of the fins. So, I mean, it is very well dead. It sat in the water bleeding for a couple minutes just to twitch here. But let you guys set up, and I'll do a measurement on this just to see how big this fish actually is, and then we'll get to cleaning it and cooking it. Alright, so let's put this right around the fork of the tail here. Right around 18 inches. Tip to tail here. That's not a bad fish. I'll take that. Now, typically I would like to do this with a fillet knife, but mine is still somewhere in the great unknown. So what I'll do is just use like a regular kitchen knife. I'm going to fillet this like I do a normal fish, probably the wrong way to do it. I know with this being a carp, well, of the carp family, it's probably going to be really bony. But what I'm going to do here is just run this down the back of them. Try to mitigate as much of the scales as I can. And fillet this down to the bone. And down to the rib cage, you can probably hear that knife running the ribs. Yeah, I can tell this guy's are going to be bony already. Let's see as we peel this back here. Now I will say bleeding this fish out prior to probably made this meat look as good as it did. Otherwise it probably would have been really, really rough. And do your cut in the bottom here. You got some really big scales, which makes this kind of difficult. Run this up the side. Skirt the ribs here and come up and out. Just gonna cut that there at the base. Sharpen my knife after that. And there you got one fillet there. Now it does have some big scales here, so there is that. I do feel the pin bones right here. It seems like they kind of run out towards the back, so we'll have to do, when I fillet this out, I'll try to section this out and keep this part a little separate here so I have an idea. And get this flipped over here and do the other side. Oh yeah, this table is going to need a serious washing. Again, come up here in the back. Make your first cut. And go down the ribs. Follow that backbone all the way down. The camera flipped around here so you can see what's going on here. Once you do your first cut, you go up to the ribs. Just kind of work the knife down like that. I need to get a bigger cutting board. This table is going to be a mess. And you start peeling it back like that. Just work along the ribs here. Try to get away from as much of that as possible. I mean, with a fish like this, it's honestly inevitable you're going to get bones in it. This isn't exactly a big cat or anything like that. Alright, so I went ahead and got this fillet cleaned up here, and I'm going to go ahead and do the last little bit of what we got to do. So I'll get that position like so. Yeah, run it like that. Like I said, this is actually pretty firm meat, surprisingly. I know carp, especially when the water gets warmer, they start to get really like mushy meat. Let's go ahead and get this filleted up here. Here's fillet number 2. I already feel the pin bones right here, so this is going to be a pretty bony fish. So we'll see here. Try to get this run up along here. Try to keep this as close to the table as possible. And just work the knife up. And there you have it. I mean, if it wasn't for the pin bones right there, this might actually be a really solid piece of meat. I don't know if you can see that there in the camera. There's a good bit of bone right there. Now that I got the butter rocking and rolling, I'm going to season the fish. What I'm going to do here is I have 4 cuts, and I'm kind of really curious just as to how this fish tastes. I mean, this is 100% a trash fish, but does it taste good or not? So what I'm gonna do is one piece is gonna be just no flavoring, just all fish. One's gonna be lemon and pepper. One's gonna be Old Bay. The other one's gonna be salt, pepper, and a little garlic powder, just to see what it tastes like. And I'll get the camera ready here in a second as I season. Yeah, it's kind of my go-to for fish. There's a little lemon and pepper here, so now we'll hit this one with some Old Bay. Doesn't want to be too much. And we'll get the other one rocking and rolling. I'm going to set the camera down here because I'm going to have to do some grading on that. Alright, into the pan they go. Now what I want to see here is what they taste like, and is it possible to make these things taste good? I feel like that's going to be the $1,000,000 question here. Alright, so we have our 4 selections here. This one is the Old Bay, this is the lemon and pepper, this is the garlic powder, salt and pepper, and this one is the fish by itself. And I can already tell you right now, there are a ton of bones that I'm seeing in here. I did cook it a little longer, so hopefully it'll flake apart and dump some of these bones out, but let's give it a shot. This is the fish by itself. It's honestly not bad. It doesn't really have much flavor or anything like that. Doesn't really have a fishy flavor. I mean, it's white flaky meat. Yeah, not bad. Alright, let's try the, this is the, there's the garlic powder and salt and pepper. Also, very good. Alright, we'll try the Old Bay next. Typically one of my go-tos for seafood and fish. And there are a ton of bones in this thing. If I did this again, I'd probably do a whole fish and then just peel it off the bone. But try the Old Bay here. Alright. So it is possible to make this trash fish taste good. Alright, last and final step is going to be the lemon and pepper. Bones everywhere. Also pretty good. I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty impressed. You know, if you see a creek chub and you think muskie bait automatically, but I mean, you catch an 18-inch creek chub, you can make yourself a meal out of it. Now, how you cook and prepare it's gonna be a different story because there are a lot of bones in this thing. It's a very bony fish, but if you bleed it right when you catch it, you should be able to get a decent fillet out of it. Well, that's gonna wrap it up for this video. And thanks for sticking around, and I will catch you next time.